Hello, everybody, and welcome to another edition of the First Pitch Podcast on Pitcher List. My name is Trevor Hooth. Thanks so much for being here. Another extra inning game to cap off another night of baseball as we are just vaulting towards the end of the season. It's come around quick. This has been a fast season. My gosh. Either way, we got baseball to talk about, so let's jump right in. Of course, starting with the news. Earlier this week, it was announced that Mason Wynn had a torn meniscus, but he was going to try to play through it. I know I saw on my Twitter timeline that everybody's like, why? Which is a good question. As it turns out, he's not. Mason Wynn is going to be shut down for the rest of the season. This is going to open things up for Thomas Segis to get regular playing time at shortstop. If this had happened earlier, maybe we would have seen JJ Weatherholt, but we will not. We are going to get Thomas Segis getting regular reps at shortstop, and I'm sure more information will come out about Mason Wynn and his torn meniscus as time goes on. The Angels have made a flurry of moves. A lot of players heading to the IL, at least some for the moment, some for much longer. Reed Detmers is being placed on the 60-day IL, Travis d'Arnaud on the 7-day concussion IL, and Andrew Chafin to the 15-day IL. On top of that, Nico Cavadas has been DFA'd by the team. The slugger at AAA has not really found his footing at the big league level. Chad Wallach and Connor Brogdon have been selected by the Angels. In sad news for a Tigers fan like myself, Tarik Skubal left his start in the fourth inning with an apparent side injury. It was described as discomfort near his left rib cage. For whatever that means, I kind of think it means oblique, but that's not official yet. We'll have to see what happens. It's bad news for the Tigers. They have been looking for somebody to step up in that rotation, and they haven't really found anybody. Jack Flaherty's been having a tough year. Casey Mize has cooled off a bit from as good as he was early in the year. It's kind of been Tarik Skubal, and then let's see what happens. And now they don't have Tarik Skubal potentially for a while heading into the playoffs. I don't want to go all doom and gloom here because we just don't know. More information is going to be coming out hopefully tomorrow, but at least in the coming days. What we do know is that Tarik Skubal left his start in the fourth inning with an apparent side injury that was described as quote unquote discomfort near his left rib cage. The Tigers have also selected or activated Jose Urquidy, who's going to be, whenever he gets in a game, making his first appearance for a non-Astros team. Sawyer Gibson-Long, who's had just rough luck with injuries this year, is heading back to the 15-day IL, and Bo Brisky is being transferred to the 60-day IL to make room for Urquidy. So the Tigers making a bunch of moves there. And, of course, keep an eye out for that Tarik Skubal news. For the Twins, David Festa has not pitched since late July, and it was with shoulder inflammation. Well, there's more news that came out. It's been announced that he has a compressed nerve. And by all accounts, he is expected to be back for spring training. Things happen, but as of right now, that is the latest update there is that David Festa should be back for spring training for the Twins. Walker Buehler has been selected by the Phillies shortly after being acquired after, what happened with the Red Sox. He's up at the big leagues again, this time with the Phillies, and Jose Alvarado has been placed on the IL. Buehler did get the start in yesterday's game. He allowed a run, striking out 3 over 5 innings, so not the worst debut for this team or for a team after having a rough year beforehand. And wrapping up the news, Chase DeLander's season is over. Entering the season as the Rockies' top prospect, has not lived up to the billing. To be fair, he's a pitcher, and it is the Colorado Rockies, so that was always going to be a huge question. He did not look the part as people thought he might. That doesn't necessarily mean anything about his future. Very talented arm, but his 2025 season is over. He finds himself on the IL with a knee injury. So we will likely not be seeing DeLander until next season. Time now to jump into some hitting highlights from yesterday's games. Cody Clemens collected 4 hits for the Twins, including 3 home runs and a double. That's right. All 4 hits went for extra bases, 3 of them home runs, One was a double, 5 RBIs in total. And this brings him up to 19 home runs on the year, all of them coming with the Twins. He did spend some time with the Phillies, uh, scattered at bats. They eventually, I believe it was DFA'd him. And at the time, Twins needed an infielder. They called upon him, and he stepped up, and he is still getting playing time, putting together a pretty decent season. Again, 19 home runs after hitting 3 in yesterday's game. The Astros called up Zach Cole, an outfielder who had been hitting pretty well in the minors, and in his debut, he collected 3 hits, including his first career home run. So, what a debut! And congratulations to Zach Cole. Aaron Judge hit another home run. That's right. He could still do that. I don't know if you knew that. Aaron Judge can still hit the long ball. Back-to-back games now. He's got 3 over the last 2 games, including his, 2 home run game the other day. Agustin Ramirez for the Marlins hit his 20th home run of the year, proving to be just an excellent power option from the catcher position. It's been really good to see him up. I'm interested to see what happens. He may transfer off catcher eventually. This is a completely different diatribe, but at some point he may wind up more as a DH, potentially a first baseman. I think long-term your catching option if you're the Marlins is Joe Mack. That will not play out until next year, and he'll keep his catcher eligibility, which is a good thing. But just thinking long-term, I think maybe eventually he becomes first baseman. So this power is going to be important if that is in fact what happens. Also for the Marlins, Joey Wiemer went deep. He's been hitting pretty well. This is his 3rd home run. He's been hitting pretty well lately. He's been on kind of a hot streak. Definitely something he's prone to do. Big power, good speed, but he strikes out a lot, and that makes it hard to trust and hard to believe that it's going to be any sort of extended run for him. Blaine Crim, if you remember the name, he made his MLB debut earlier this year with the Rangers. However, he was claimed off waivers by the Rockies and made his Rockies debut in yesterday's game, and he did so going 1 for 4 with a 3-run home run. So Blaine Crim starting his Colorado Rockies tenure on a high note, hitting a 3-run homer. Carlos Cortez, the switch throwing fielder, hit 2 home runs for the Athletics. He was at one point in the Mets system. A switch thrower as a fielder, I don't know how that helps. It's no Drangelo Cinche from the Mariners. He's a pitcher who's a switch pitcher. I guess Carlos Cortez can throw with both hands, but that's a whole different thing. Let's talk about how he was hitting. He hit 2 home runs yesterday. He has 67 at bats in the majors this year with the Athletics and is hitting .328 with now 3 home runs. So definitely hitting for a good average in those 67 at bats, and now with a trio of home runs after hitting 2 of them in yesterday's games. Again, switch thrower. I don't know why I keep saying it. Just an interesting little tidbit about him, I guess. And wrapping up our hitting, a 10th inning grand slam for Patrick Bailey propelled the Giants to a win over the Dodgers. It is Patrick Bailey's 6th of the year. He's hitting about .220, but a fun way to end the night. That was the final game to finish, and it finished with a grand slam from the bat of Patrick Bailey. Taking a look at some of the pitching, Pablo Lopez tossed 5 innings and allowed 2 unearned runs and struck out 6. This is his 2nd start back since returning from the extended trip on the IL. For the Braves, Hurston Waldrop allowed 8 runs against the Astros through 4 2/3 innings. That's not good. 8 runs is a lot. In his 8 games at the big league level this year, he hasn't allowed more than 2 runs in any outing. That is, only 7 other outings. To be fair, you're talking sample size, but he hasn't allowed more than 2. He's been very good this year at suppressing runs and honestly getting strikeouts. He's been very good at the big league level this year. And if you take away this 8-run outing, he will have allowed just 6 runs. So he allowed more runs in this outing yesterday than he has in all of his other starts combined. So he's having a really good time, but, just not yesterday. Luis Gil for the Yankees. He threw 6 shutout innings. In fact, not just shutout, he didn't even allow a hit. He struck out 4 and walked 4 in that process. So the walks killed him a bit, but did not allow a hit across 6 shutout innings and struck out 4 as well. I had many conversations with myself on yesterday's podcast about Sandy Alcantara. And if you bothered to listen through it, I was very non-committal about what that might look like. Well, turned out to be pretty good. He was facing the Tigers. He struck out 8 of them over 7 innings and allowed a pair of runs. So good to see Sandy Alcantara showing signs that he may be returning. This is a good sign heading into next year. And Sandy Alcantara is somebody that I think I will be targeting in drafts because I think it's going to come back. And I think you're going to get a really good pitcher at a bargain rate because he did have a rough year this year. Tanner Bybee goes complete game, striking out 10 batters, scattering just 2 hits. A great outing from the Guardians starter. 9 innings, 2 hits, 10 strikeouts. I mean, hey, what more could you ask for? I guess maybe 2 less hits would be fun, but beggars can't be choosers. Great game from Tanner Bybee. Chris Bassett allowed 2 hits and a walk-in route to a 1-run, 6-strikeout outing, and he lasted 5 innings for the Blue Jays. A couple more pitchers. JT Ginn for the Athletics struck out 6 and walked 4, but he did not allow a run across 4 1/3 innings, and he's had some solid outings like this. He's had some not-so-solid outings. It's just kind of a guessing game at this point with him, but definitely showing some promise. And finally, the Cy Young candidate has to be at this point. Yoshinobu Yamamoto struck out 10 over 7 innings and allowed 1 earned run, just a single earned run. And the Dodgers did take the loss again on that Patrick Bailey grand slam in the 10th inning, but Yamamoto looked fantastic once again. He has all year. I'm going to repeat his line one more time. 10 strikeouts over 7 innings, allowing just a single earned run. And that man is going to make some noise come award season. With that, I'm going to take a quick timeout. When I come back, I got a few pitchers to talk about for the games upcoming today. I do appreciate you being with me. This is the First Pitch Podcast on Pitcher List. And welcome back to the First Pitch Podcast on Pitcher List. My name is Trevor Hooth. Thanks so much for being here. We've talked some news. We've talked hitting and pitching from yesterday. What do you say we take a look at the pitching that's going to be coming up today? I got a few names to pull out, and I didn't do it intentionally. I just kind of gravitate towards it. These are all younger names, all rookies for the most part. So, I guess that's just what you get because I'm a prospect guy. Starting with Andrew Alvarez is set to face Bubba Chandler and the Pirates. Alvarez pitches for the Nationals, and he's going to be making his 3rd start of the year. He's got the Pirates. That's a pretty good matchup for him. And in his first 2 starts, he's collected 6 strikeouts with a 1.86 ERA. Now, to be fair, he also has 5 walks, so the command might hurt him a little bit. He's not going to get you a ton of strikeouts necessarily, but he does suppress runs. So if you're looking for somebody to stream, maybe help your ERA, Andrew Alvarez has kind of done it to this point. And facing off against the Pirates lineup, it seems like maybe another outing where he can provide some success. Brandon Sproat making his 2nd career start as the Mets youth movement continues. Jonah Tong did not have a great outing yesterday. Brandon Sproat hoping for better luck. He'll be making his 2nd start, Sproat will, this time against the Rangers. Tough matchup. His first outing was against the Reds, and he ended with 7 strikeouts and 4 walks across 6 innings, allowing 3 earned runs. So not bad, not fantastic. We'll see what he does against the Rangers. Still definitely an interesting one to keep an eye on. And of course, I am always down to talk about a Parker Messick start for the Guardians. He's going to be entering this game against the White Sox, so that's usually a pretty good matchup for those pitchers. He has a 1.93 ERA and 18 strikeouts through 23 1/3 innings across 4 games. Messick is like I keep saying this, but the comp that comes to my head, he's like an improved or slightly better Joey Cantillo. And I thought there'd be more strikeouts. I think more strikeouts can come. He was getting a lot of them in AAA, and the walks were kind of the question mark, but he has been fantastic as a big leaguer. He has a good matchup against the White Sox. I could not put my name and sign on I believe Parker Messick to have a good start later today any more than I've seemed like I am right now. Big Parker Messick fan. Think he's going to do well. Got a good matchup. Been performing well. And that is the summary of that. And finally, the matchup of the day, Mitch Ferris versus Brian Wu. This is the Angels versus the Mariners. Brian Wu has obviously been fantastic this year in so many different ways. Not a whole lot to say about him. And Mitch Ferris, I'm choosing this one because I personally need Mitch Ferris to have a great day. So I am sending out good vibes via this podcast. Mitch Ferris is going to have a wonderful outing against the Mariners. I really hope. Definitely need it for my playoffs. But Still think it's going to be a fun matchup. Ferris has been pretty good over his first few starts. Not jumping off the page, but he did have a 28% strikeout rate in Double A before they called him up, and the strikeouts are the thing that he hasn't quite had so far. So I'm wondering if those are going to come back as he faces more big league hitters, as he gets more comfortable at the big league level, because he did jump Triple A. So maybe this is when he puts together, hopefully. But still, that means Ferris and Wu could be a very fun matchup. That is my matchup of the day. And of course, I must remind you, check out pitcherlist.com, the top 100 pitchers, the top 100 hitters, and the top 100 relievers done by Nick, Scott, and Rick. Always fantastic. I check them at least twice a week because, well, that's just what I do. And of course, there's also great written content coming out all the time from people who are much, much smarter than me. So if you think that I'm providing anything, they're going to do better than me. Make sure to check that out, pitcherlist.com. And of course, join us on the Discord by joining PL Pro if you're not already there. Love talking prospects there. And of course, we have a bunch of other channels, baseball being talked all the time. With that, I appreciate you joining me. This has been another edition of the First Pitch Podcast on Pitcher List.